Sarah. I'm so glad we can hang out again today. Today we're going to be talking about how I outline my books. A few weeks ago I received a request to explain how I outline my books, and so I figured why not do that today. This video will be all about how I outline my personal books. This won't have anything to do really with how I outline my co-authored books. That'll happen next week when I get with my co-author and we sit down and we work on our outline, and I can actually show you what we do when we're getting it outlined together for our stories. But before we get into the video, I want to make a little bit of a disclaimer. How an author plots or doesn't plot is very individual, and I don't want anyone to think that they have to outline the way I do. This is what works for me. It's not going to work for everyone. Each person should be able to figure out what works for them and what helps them write the story the way they want to. Some people, they outline and then they're like, that's too restricting. I need to just go through the story and discovery write, pants it, just let the story flow, and that works for them. Other people, they pants it and they're like, this is a chaotic mess, I don't like it, I need to outline. So my advice to you is to experiment, try new things. If something's not working for you, ditch it, try something else, figure out what works for you. Don't think that whatever I say or whatever anyone else says is exactly what is going to work for you. Be open to new things, try new things, grow as you pursue your craft, and I promise that someday you'll be able to find something that works for you. And remember that each story is individual. Not everything is going to work. That worked for one story is going to work for another. So keep that in mind and always be open to new ideas. Now we're going to go up to my office so I can show you just how I outline. Okay, here we are up at my office. A few things before we go ahead and get started with the outlining process. I wanted to show you a few tools that I use regularly for my outlines. One is this story structure and character arc alignment chart by Sarah Letourneau. I think I'm pronouncing her name correctly, I'm not sure. But in this, she breaks down the character arc stages, the stage and story structure, approximate location, stuff like that. This has been super helpful for me when plotting my stories, and I highly recommend. I'm going to leave a link down below. And this goes along with her character evolution files. This is really helpful if you're struggling to figure out your character arcs. This gives you she gives you a lot of information about how to structure your character arcs. And so I will also link this series down below, super helpful. And also you will need some sort of place to outline, either Word, Google Docs, whatever you use to outline, and we will go ahead and get started. So the first thing that I do is I try to figure out approximately how many chapters my story needs. Now, let's pretend that I'm going to write a middle grade for this example. And let's say I want it to be about 45,000 words approximately. So for me, my average chapter length is about 1,500 words, so I just divide 45,000 by 1,500 and I get about 30 chapters. So what I do is I'm going to go ahead and add in a list of those chapters, and then I will be right back. Okay, I have gone ahead and I have added in my chapters in a bulleted list. And what I typically do next is I go ahead and I add in any scenes that I can think of that I've already brainstormed, and especially things like the inciting incident and any other major conflicts. And I generally will go and use the story structure chart and kind of figure out approximately where I want them in the story, and then that will help me give a general baseline in order to know what other scenes I'm going to have to add in. So I typically do the inciting incident is a big one. Oftentimes things like the point of no return, or the revelation, or the dark night of the soul, things like that. I typically go through and add those in their approximate locations. Now, these different approximate locations are just guidelines. They're not hard and fast rules, so I just kind of use them as a baseline and then move them around as I see fit. So I'm going to go ahead and do something real quick for that, and I will be right back. Okay, I have now gone through and I've added in what major plot points I can think of Now, obviously, in my actual outlines, these would be scenes that would actually be in the book, not just, you know, moment of truth or whatever, things like that. But this is just to give you an idea. And as you can see, there are significant blocks between different plot points, and that's how I like it. And this just kind of gives me a general visual idea of how my story is going. And what I typically do at this point is I kind of look at it and see if I like how it looks. Now, at this point, I might say I need a few more scenes. Like, I don't like that there's only 2 open spots here between the Dark Night of the Soul and the Moment of Truth. I don't think that's enough. So I might go in and say I want 2 or 3 more chapters there. So I will add in those extra chapters, and that gives me a little bit more space to work through the ending and make sure it's actually the way I want it. And so what I will then do is I will go through and I will fill in these gaps and link like the inciting incident to the point of no return. I'll add in scenes that will help smooth through that. And I do not work in a linear format. I will sometimes start at the end and work my way back. And this helps me kind of do reverse engineering because I can actually see if the ending and the beginning work together well, and that the story will actually flow in a seamless, logical format, and that I'm actually working towards getting to the ending. So I will go ahead and do that. Okay, I have now gone through and I've added in linking chapters. Now, obviously, these would be chapters, like they would actually be scenes that I would actually use, and they would, again, follow the story structure that I showed you. They would kind of have those general vibes in order to link the various different conflicts and stuff. But for this purpose, I've only just put in linking chapter because it's easier for me to type that. But I do that throughout the whole outline. I work and brainstorm until I've gotten a structure that I like. I might have to add chapters, I might have to take chapters out until it looks like a story that I actually want to write, and make sure that all the scenes are something that's actually going to move the story forward. Now, one disclaimer is when I actually start writing, I often will not follow this. Sometimes I find that some scenes can be combined, some can be removed entirely, so I allow myself the freedom of doing whatever seems right at the moment, and sometimes that means taking things out, sometimes that means adding things in. This is just a guideline for me. This is not set in stone. This is not something that I will 100% follow. So don't think that when you make an outline, you have to follow it to the letter. You can change it however you want once you actually start writing. It does not have to be exact. So I hope this helped to get at least a little bit of an insight into how I outline. Again, I will leave the story structure and character arc alignment chart down below, as well as links to all my social media in case you want to follow me elsewhere. But anyway, that is how I outline, and I hope this is helpful. And I will see you next week with a video on how I co-author outline, which should be kind of fun. I will get together with my co-author and we will work on making a video for that. And so, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you would like to see more of these videos. And I will see you next week. Bye! Names the character arc, the name of the stage and the story structure, approximate location in story, significance in plot, and significance in character arc. And this helps me figure out where I need to put all of the things and how. Okay, so. Okay, we're not gonna be able to do this, are we?
Hey, can you keep it down out there? I'm live streaming. Welcome back, Flash Mob.
That's also gonna go at the end.
Good.